Hitting 10K months isn't actually that hard, or at least it doesn't need to be. It can be fun and easy, and once you crack the code of what works for you, it can be pretty simple to maintain long term. If you're a freelance copywriter and you're struggling to bring in consistent revenue every single month, then keep watching. I struggled in the early days of my business, but with every single milestone that I hit, whether that was 1K, 5K, 10K, 20K months, I realized that it actually didn't need to be that hard to get to these spots, and a lot of it was just stuff that I was making up in my head. It really comes down to just doing the work in a few key areas of your business. And if you focus on these and don't stress about the rest, then you'll hit those milestones that you want, like 10K months, in no time. If you don't know me, hey, I'm Jill Wise. I'm a conversion copywriter, brand and marketing strategist, and business coach. And through my Done For You studio and my education platform, I've worked with, coached, and taught literally hundreds of entrepreneurs how to make good money online. In this video, I'm going to talk about what those 5 key areas are that you really need to focus on, and the specific things that I have done and I've recommended to a lot of my clients in order to achieve those buzzy milestones like 10K months and 6-figure years. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you like this video, give that a like too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get into the 5 key areas. Okay, the first area of your business that you need to focus on if you want to hit those buzzy milestones like 10K months and 6-figure years is your positioning and your branding. And with this one, I'm going to tell you a story of what I like to call baby business Jill, who had absolutely no idea what she was doing, right? So I started out as a freelance writer, and I was just peddling word counts for pennies, literally pennies. Like my first gig paid $25 to write 500 words, and I stuck with that for a really long time, like a couple years, honestly, a little bit too long. And part of that was actually like running around the city that I was living in and collecting photos. Sometimes I would do interviews with different people or get quotes and that kind of stuff. And from there, I landed a gig that was $200 to write 500 words. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like so much money, right? But the thing is, I just kept trading word counts to make a little bit more money instead of actually figuring out what my value is and what my position is next to all of the other freelance writers. So that's what you need to do. If you want to hit 10K months, you need to position yourself as worthy of the rates that you're going to charge in order to do that. And part of that is doing really good work, of course, but the other part is learning how to sell yourself. And when I say sell yourself, I don't mean that you're just going to become like this tacky salesperson. I mean, you need to get really clear on what your value is, what results you can provide, and what makes you different compared to all of your competitors. Like, what is your unique spin on things? So for me, the day that I stopped selling word counts was the day that everything changed. So instead of saying I would write 500 words, 1,000 words, whatever, I got really clear that I was going to focus on brand messaging and website copy. I would help people with their brand voice and writing their website. And then it became more about the results that I was going to get them, right? Like they would have a completed website at the end. And then the step beyond that is then I realized that not only was I creating websites for people, but I was helping them get results. So their websites would get them more sales. Maybe it would be a piece of their sales pipeline. It was a revenue generator. And then that way, now I'm not selling word counts on websites. I'm selling something that is going to make their business more money. And that is true whether it is a website or a launch sales page or emails or whatever it is that you're writing. You need to focus on the results that you are getting people and sell that instead. And then the next part of this is learning how to position yourself. So like what makes you so special? And a lot of the time we don't know that in the early days. Now I do know what makes me special, and I use that to position my Done For You studio to our private clients and attract more clients just like them. And this is how I've been able to continue to grow and scale the business over the years up into hiring a team. And now it's not just me doing all of the work, and we're not doing just copy. So that's the first thing that you need to focus on. You need to get really clear on what your positioning is and develop an entire brand that represents that in order to attract those high-paying clients that are going to help you get to the 10K months. And I want to add that it doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning, and this can evolve over time. You just need to get something that is going to work for you for now, because at each stage of your business, in each stage that you grow to, it's going to change. So find something that works for you right now, knowing that you can evolve from it later. The next area of your business that I want you to focus on is your processes and your systems. I talk about this literally all the time, but you're never gonna nail those milestones if you're just doing things willy-nilly all day long. For this, I want you to think about things like, what does a typical workflow look like? Like, what is a project from start to finish? What are all of those steps? What does a day look like in your life, in your work? And the big question is, do you really need to hire help to get to where you wanna go right now? Or can you be more efficient first and then hire help down the road? This will not only help keep costs down right now while you're still in the building and growing stages, but it'll set you up for more success when you are ready to hire later. Even I got caught up in this. I got really busy at one point and I thought that I needed to hire help earlier than I actually did. And what I really needed to do, and I figured this out after a few weeks of just like overworking myself too much, I realized that I needed to actually systemize and become more efficient in different ways first, because if I were to hire someone, I wouldn't even know how to direct them. Like, I wouldn't know what to delegate to them because I wasn't super clear on like how things went start to finish throughout a project. Or what I mean is, I was clear on these things, but I couldn't communicate it to someone else. It was all just up in my head. It didn't live anywhere other than in my head. Because I'd worked so hard at developing my own method and my own way of doing things, all of that was there, but it didn't exist anywhere else other than my head. So before hiring help, I went all in on my systems and my processes, and then I took that a step further in actually automating pieces of it. And by automating parts of it, I was able to save a bunch of time, and it turns out that I actually didn't need to hire someone at that point, and I didn't. And I continued on my merry way for a long time like that. And if you're curious, I use Dubsado for a lot of my client processes, Dubsado and ClickUp, but I did a video about Dubsado a few weeks ago, specifically how it helps me save hours of time each week. And all of this is from those like early days of just getting things set up when it was just me here. I want to be clear that I am really big on hiring teams, but not before you're ready, because if you do that, then it just turns into like this flaming mess where everybody is stressed out because you don't know what anyone is supposed to be doing and you don't really know what you don't even know what they should be doing, right? Instead, you can build the systems first, or at least the very basic, like minimum viable versions of those in order to bring on help. And then you can follow those systems together and continue to work with them, and they'll evolve over time as well, just like your positioning and your branding. The systems that we follow now are very similar to the ones that we followed when it was just me, when I was first setting this stuff up, but they're a lot better now because I, with help from my team, have continued to like mold them to be exactly what we need. So this way is honestly just so much easier for everyone involved. The next area of your business that you need to focus on is actually you. Specifically, your mindset and dealing with all of those limiting beliefs that you probably have. I know that a lot of us entrepreneurs, we have a lot of head shit going on. And a lot of business comes down to what is going on in your head. So I'm talking things like imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves and the fear and all of that stuff. All of it is valid, entirely valid, and you're not alone in it, but it's stuff that we need to deal with. And if you can deal with that head shit, you'll grow so much faster. I told you that when I first started my business, I struggled. Like, everything felt really hard. But the first time that I surpassed that 10K mark in a month, I realized that it actually wasn't that hard. It could be simple. I could make it easy. I was the one who was getting in my way for a lot of this stuff. I was too scared to raise my rates too much. I saw what other people were charging and I wasn't sure if I would be able to bring that in. I held on to clients that weren't a good fit. I wasn't great about boundaries. All of these things, they played a factor in it, and all of it comes back to what is going on in your head. You need to work on your mindset and really become your own biggest cheerleader, because if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody else is going to. Yes, entrepreneurship is hard work. Yes, building a business is hard work. And yes, doing the work that we do, especially as copywriters, is hard work. That doesn't mean that it can't be simple and easy and fun at the same time. Just remember that you don't need to struggle, and you get to call the shots. The next area that I want to chat about is pricing strategy. I know so many of us get really weird about pricing and numbers, and we don't know what to charge, and especially if we're new, like, you just feel totally lost with it. And then maybe you start Googling for answers, but you get this massive range and you don't know where you fit. The way that I want you to look at pricing, if you want to hit 10K months, is to think about it like this. How many clients do I need to get at my current rates in order to hit 10K? For example, maybe you write websites and you have a typical project timeline of about 4 weeks. Okay, so if you get 2 clients in a month and you charge them each $5,000 to write their entire website start to finish, there's 10K. Or maybe your business is set up on retainers. So you write email marketing or blogs and that kind of thing for clients, and you're on a monthly agreement with them and they pay you about $1,000 every single month in order to do all of this work that you've set in the scope. Cool. So if you are charging $1,000 a month to every single client, then you need 10 clients in a month in order to hit 10K. Or maybe it's a mix of the two. You have 5 $1,000 retainers and you do one website project that is 4 weeks long. The numbers here don't exactly matter. Like, you can plug in what your own numbers are. But when you think about it this way, you'll know exactly how many clients you need to get and at which rates in order to hit your goals. Honestly, doing this exercise for myself a few years ago was really eye-opening because I realized that at my current rates, it would be nearly impossible for me to make $10,000 in a month alone because I just didn't have that many hours in the day. Like, I knew approximately how long projects would take me in terms of hours, so like I could dedicate that time on my calendar, and if I stacked them all up at these rates that I was charging, there wasn't enough hours in a month. So you might find that too. You might find that your rates aren't actually appropriate in order to hit that dollar amount, or at least if you want to like sleep and have a life too. Or maybe they're okay, or maybe it's not that you need to change your rates, but you just need to bring on some help to help you with the other stuff so that you can focus on those revenue generating tasks instead. Or as a freelance writer, it'll be so that you can free up more time so that you can keep writing or write more or bring on another client or that kind of thing. And the final area that I want to talk about is your marketing and sales pipeline. And I should clarify that this is in no particular order because honestly, this is one of the really important things that you should be doing very early on in your business, because if you're busy setting up your systems and your processes and you don't have any sales coming in, then you're not really in business. Without sales, you're not actually in business, at least in my opinion. But anyways, that was a tangent. So the idea is that you have a plane, but where are you going to fly it? You need to have a solid sales funnel in place and then a marketing strategy in order to drive traffic to the top of your funnel. For us copywriters, that funnel can be super simple. Like, it might just be having a website in place that is going to talk to the right customer at the right time and tell them the exact right thing so that they click on over to your calendar or they end up in your inbox. Or maybe you want to set up an email sequence and use a lead magnet to capture those emails. Whatever you decide, make it intentional and start simple, because you can always grow from there. At first, I had my website and my contact form, and I knew what I would say when leads came into my world, and then I focused on one platform. I chose Instagram because this was years ago when it was actually fun and not like annoying like it can be right now. But anyways, I chose Instagram and I posted on Instagram literally every single day for an entire year. And that is when I saw the most growth on my Instagram profile. And then from Instagram, I was able to get those leads that would maybe reach out in the DMs over to my website and then get them onto my calendar. And then that's where the momentum started, and I started attracting these clients into my world. So that's where everything started when I switched from having to cold pitch for all of my work into where it is now, where literally all of our clients since 2018 have come to me. So this is why it's so important, especially if you want to have an inbound system like I do. It's so important to focus on your marketing and your sales pipeline and just get all of that set up ahead of time. Otherwise, you might be stuck with the cold pitching kind of idea for a while. And if you're okay with cold pitching, cool, do that. Like, maybe that's your sales pipeline. I hated it, so I wanted something different. I could talk about this stuff for literally hours. I often talk about this stuff for literally hours, but I will leave you there because this video is probably starting to get pretty long. If you like this conversation and you want more of it, I have a ton of other videos up on my page. There's some about how I used Dubsado to save time, and another one about the hires that you need to make if you want to grow and scale your copywriting business. And of course, if there's any topics that you want to see me talk about specifically, you can leave those in the comments below. I am always open to suggestions. Don't forget to like and subscribe and like this video to show me that you like it so I can create more content like this. And as always, thank you so much for watching.